Morning, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Love 500 and welcome back to another how-to video. Today we're going to show you how to replace the hatch wiring on a Fiat 500 or an Abarth, doesn't matter which, it's exactly the same. I'm going to try and show you from start to finish and explain as we go along exactly how you can do it. It's not difficult, it's a bit daunting the first time you do it. I've done it several times, touch wood, never had a problem. Let's do it, let's show you how, let's get on with it. Okay, so this car is a 96,000 miler. As you can see here, someone at some point in the past has done a little bit of a bodge repair, which may have lasted for a little while, but this car is having all sorts of problems. The Blue and Me is flashing the mileage, so I don't know whether that's the Blue and Me or whether it's anything to do with this. I've got airbag lights up, the remote control doesn't work properly, all sorts of errors coming up on the dash. The boot, although it's open, shows that it's although it's closed, shows that it's open. The rear wiper, as soon as you turn the ignition on, goes and doesn't stop in the right place. These are all of these things, as well as many others, are classic examples of when your hatch wiring has gone bad. Now, there are two ways to do this. I prefer this way. Now, what you can buy, which is not the way I prefer, is you can buy repair kits, which in theory are better because they contain a better quality wire that won't crack. My preferred way is to use a loom from another car. In this case, a newer car, because then you've got more chance of it being a good one. So these have been checked already. The wires are all okay. And what we do is we take this off. You take that off, and then what you do is you undo all the plugs, you tape up the ends of them and tie two pieces of string to each plug, tape it all together, carefully pull it through. You do the same behind here as well. We've got the wires for that, and also the wire for your rear, the pipe for your rear squirt. So all that needs to come through. Pull it all through. We then we then pull that through to the inside of the car, and then what we do is where we've got the pieces of string, we then do the same on these plugs. We tie these all together, pull all those through using a pull-in fluid, which is just a lubricant to help it pull through. Do it carefully, pull the strings, tease it through. Once it gets down this bit, you can then get hold of it inside, help it to pull it through, take all the bits of tape off, clean it up, plug them in, and then we go into here and we then cut, like this one has been cut. We cut that, all those pipes all have to be cut. We join the pipe there for the squirters. We do solder joints on all of those connections. There's quite a few of them, it takes a little while. But because we're doing it in here, inside the car, it makes it much easier, much more secure. Now, that's my preferred way of doing it. If you want to do it using the other method, which is the kit, obviously you have to pull all these through, join it up, push that back through and do the same in there. So you actually, in theory, it's more work because although you haven't got to unthreadle the whole thing, you do have to do double the amount of joins. So you've got to do all the joins there and all the joins there. So it's your choice whether you do it like that. This is my preferred method, as I say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up, and on all the crucial bits I'm going to film in real time. When I'm doing other things, I'm going to put you up on, I'm going to do it on time lapse, and then between the two videos hopefully we can show you exactly what to do. So if you get to the end of the video, if you've got any questions, drop me a message, ask me, and I'll try and help you out. So let's do it. First thing to do is disconnect the battery, because obviously we're messing around with electrics. We don't want to cause any further damage than whatever's possibly, potentially been caused already by these wires touching, shorting out, etc. It's a horrible day today. It's raining a little bit, but we need to get this done. And then we can, on this car, we can attack all the other things, all the other problems that this car has still got. So let's do it. Let's set you up. Let's disconnect the battery and make a start. Okay, so the first thing you need to do after you've disconnected the battery is we need to remove this and we need to remove that. So we don't need much in the way of tools to do that. We need a trim removal tool and we need a Torx to take that out. And then we need, I think it's just a screwdriver behind there. You've got to prise these little things out and then they're just screws behind and then that will just pull off. So let's do that. Everything off of there, so we've disconnected that, the pipe off of there, which connects in there, just up there. If you can see it, you probably can't, too dark. And that's obviously for your rear brake light. Now the only problem I had was I couldn't get that one off of the rear window, and I actually broke it. So this thing was broken off. So I'm going to have to try and resolder that on before I put it all back together again. Which is a nuisance, but yeah, anyway, these things happen. Now, it was really tight and it just would not come off. So yeah, so I broke that, unfortunately. It doesn't normally happen, I have to say, but I'm hopefully soldering that back on will do the job anyway. So yeah, so that's it. So what we do now is we gather all these wires together and we put tape round them and we tie 2 pieces of string to each set of wires. So those get taped to there, they get taped to there, and then we get a piece of string, 2 pieces of string around that, and 2 pieces of string around that bit there. And then we pull it through, and obviously it will come out of here. As you can see, that's taken me 5 or 6 minutes to do that. It doesn't take very long. The reason I took the lock out is just because it's easier to get that plug off. Just removing those 2 10mm bolts, it's easy to get the plug off of the lock. And putting it back on again, even because it's quite difficult to get in there. So that's the only reason I did that. You don't have to do that if you can manage to do it by feel and depress the right bit to get it out. Then that's all well and good. But I just prefer it just quicker and easier just to take it off. Okay, so let's go back onto time lapse. So we just need to go into the garage and get some string, the tape. We'll get it taped up, then we'll come back and we'll start pulling it through. We'll do that bit live, just to show you how it's done. Okay, there we go. So all taped up. You could put a bit of tape around there, but I think it's all right. I think when I pull the other one through, I will do. But you need to try and get them as slim as possible. That's probably could do with being a bit thinner. So, you know, move it up a little bit so you haven't got. I don't think I've got 2 plugs, but I think that plug's gone in on the side rather than flat. It's all right for pulling it through. When I do it the other way, I would make sure that they were flat. And then all you do is you pull them through. That's simple as that. And then what you have to make sure, I've done the string longer than I normally do, because sometimes you can get to the point where you got it pulled through and I've had to tie off the strings on here because I've almost lost them through the holes. I'm actually using heavier string than I normally do, only because I couldn't find the other string. But you put some tape over the ends as well, so there's 2 lots of string on each one tied on, just in case one snaps or one comes off, you've still got one attached. Just belt and braces, really. It's never happened, but just to be on the safe side, because you never know. Okay, so I'm going to do this bit in real time, not on time lapse, and hopefully that will come through all hunky-dory. So yeah, let's do it. So, I don't think it really matters which one you pull through first. Just pull it, and they'll start to come through. Probably the bigger one's better. Quite it's actually quite tighter than it normally is. So as you see there, they separate. So it's easier, once they've separated, it's easier to pull them through. There we go, we've got the first one through already. This is where you be careful, you don't want your string to come off. There you go, that's the first one, the narrow one. As you can see, we've got plenty of string on there, so we're not going to lose it. And then we continue to pull to get this one through. So if you don't tread on the string, helps. So if you continue to pull and push at the same time, and that is also the same when you do it the other way. So you can feel it sort of scraping and gradually coming through. Can you see? I hope you can see this, all right? So it gets past the thick bits. Keep going. And I think it's got stuck a little bit there. I think that might be the bit where I said it was a bit too thick. There we go. Yeah, it was. So I need to be careful with that. As I say, when you're coming the other way, it's all right going this way. And also, as you can see, it starts to pull that through as well. So you need to be careful. Even though I've got plenty on there, just be careful that it doesn't pull that through. Just keep an eye on it, basically. There you go, just pull it through a little bit, like so. It will go back through like that, but if you've got enough there, it's not going to disappear. But just keep an eye on it. If it gets a bit close, then you can just tie it up like I normally do when I use the other string. There you go. That's through. That's it. Last bit, and there we have our bits of string. Done. And now what we have to do, let's get you off of here. Now what we have to do is obviously disconnect it from here and then reconnect the new one up. What we can do, depends on how we want to do it, I think what I'll do is I'll get into the car, take off the side panel. It's only this bit that needs to come off. I think you don't need to take the quarter panel off, you just need to take this piece off. So you've got a screw under there to take that off. We'll drop the seat down. Screw, a Phillips screw under there. There's a Phillips screw. No, we don't think we need to take. Yes, there's a Phillips screw at the bottom of this. We'll show you that in a minute. And pull this off, which is just on poppers. And then we'll get in the car, and then we can see that you can get to the other side, where we will eventually cut the wires. But what we'll do is we'll just pull them through for the time being. Yeah, that's it. So let's do that. We'll tie the strings on first to the new one, and then we will pull that through to inside the car. Let's do it that way. As you can see, everything's taped up as flat as we can get them. We've got the two strings attached, taped up securely. We've got that one attached. I did attach that to there because of the weight of the whole loom. It was pulling it through, which is what it often does. There was extra available, but I just thought, just to be on the safe side, I'll do that. Now, what I find that it's quicker to pull, easier if we pull the narrow one, the quick one through first, leave the strings attached, but just pull it through, and then work on the thicker one. That's what I find is easier. So what we're going to do now is, you could do it without this. You could probably use washing up liquid, but this is a wire pulling lubricant. So all I do is I put some blue gloves on, and I smother this all over the cable, and it just helps to pull it through so it doesn't get snagged. And it does make a difference. It's a lot. I say it's a lot easier pulling it back the other way, although a little bit more nerve-wracking than it is pulling it out. So I'm just going to put some blue gloves on, and then again we'll do that bit live as well, so you can see it being done. And yeah, let's do it. Exciting stuff, eh? Right, let's do it. Let's just get some gloves. Right, as you can see, it's all lubed up. So I've taken my gloves off. And then what we really need to do is probably, do I need another glove on? I'm just going to put an ordinary glove on rather than a surgical glove, just so I don't get the gunk all over my hands. It is quite slippery stuff, but yeah, let's just set you up. We'll do this in real time, and we'll pull it through, hopefully successfully. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it. So we're going to do as we said, we're going to do this thin one first. So just take a bit of tape off, he says. Now, the most time-consuming bit of doing this is when you finish and you got it all through, is getting this tape off. This is a bit of a mare because it's very strong stuff. Right. Okay. Let's get the first one through. So as I said, you pull the string, but also make sure that you push the cables as well. It's quite important to push more than you pull. So the pulling is really just sort of guiding it through, if you like. There it is, it's there, it's through already. There you go. Now you don't want that to get in the way too much. So obviously leave the string on it. You don't want it to get in too much in the way because you've got to pull the thicker one through. So whether it's easier to put the thicker one in first or not, maybe, I don't know. But that's the way I always do it. And now what we've got to do is pull that through. So what I may have to do actually, because I think I might have got this hooked around here, so I may have to pull that out again, possibly, I don't know. Let me look at this. How can I do this? It might be easier to just remove this. So I think I've got that should be the other side of it. Yeah, it's in the way, isn't it? Let's pull it through first and we'll worry about that afterwards. I might just take this off. They're easy enough to get off, they just pop off. Yeah, let's do it, let's try it. Okay. So as I say, until it gets past this channel, that's the crucial bit. It's coming up nicely, and when it gets there, obviously if you get your hands right in there, you can feel it with your hands. Get that plug pushed through. I think we're nearly there. Almost. Yeah, I just got my hand on the end of it. I may be able to actually hook that round with the other end, because of course the other end's not joined, is it? Now that's a bit stiff going through that one, but we've almost got hold of it. Come on, get in there. Doesn't want to go in. I'm just going to go and get another glove because my hand is slipping when I'm trying to grab hold of it. So I'm just going to grab another glove and put that on. There we go, it's coming through. Yeah, I can't believe I've done that. Schoolboy error. I think what I'll do is I'll pull that one through again, take the string off, thread it round rather than taking this off. But we'll carry on pulling that through until we've got it all the way. We're nearly there. Here we go. We're through. Now, which is going to be the best way of doing this? Should I take that off? There we go, that's popped off. And now we can get that unthreaded like that, which is how it should have been in the first place. And then we'll pop that back on again. He says. There you go. Don't do as I do, do as I say. Dear, yeah, you just need to be careful with that. I've never done that before, I have to say. Right, so here we go. We're through. We are completely through. Just need to push the grommet in and we're done for that bit. Now what we need to do is clean all this gunk off of the cables. So we'll just do that. And then we come back and we can start connecting them up again. That's all that pretty much cleaned up. So we'll take gloves off. And what I'll do is I'm not going to film this because, as I say, this takes some time. We've got to try and get all this tape off, bearing in mind that it's still got some of the sticky stuff on it. We'll get all this tape off of all of these plugs and get the string off as well. So as I say, because it's sticky, you can see my hands are slipping off of it. That bit came off not too bad actually, but generally it takes a long time. And then we've got to clean it up again to get all the bits of that pulling stuff that's got onto the plug terminal. So we'll do that and then we will come straight back and we'll start reconnecting. Right, okay, so all off. That one was a nightmare. In fact, look, the pipe's just disappearing back in there. So you do need to be careful with that it doesn't disappear. We'll plug that in first, actually, and then we will put this one on as well. We'll reconnect it just so it doesn't disappear back into it. So, yeah, that one is fast disappearing, so we need to get that on straight away. If I can do it one-handed. Again, I think I'm going to need my gloves because it's a little bit slippery, where it's still got a little bit of remnants of the sticky stuff over it. But it's all done. What I have noticed about this particular loom is it's come off of a facelift, because still connected to it, which we don't need, is a facelift rear light plug. So we don't need that. So we will, once we've joined all the other wires, we'll cut that off. And we'll keep that because we are going to do a rear light conversion at some point, not on this car, but it's on a different car. So it's always handy to have those plugs. Yeah, I wasn't even aware they were part of the same loom, to be honest. I thought they split off separately before they got to there. Maybe it's different on the facelift. Now, I have had issues in the past on the last car I did, where when I was joining the wires, there were more wires on the loom, on the new loom than there were on the old loom. Or was it the other way around? I can't remember which way around it was. And all it was is they were all black, they were all earths. And I connected them all to one earth that was left. So I had one wire on one bit and 4 wires on the other, and all I did is I connected the whole lot together and it was all good. So they were all earths. So what I did is I went back to all the plugs and saw all the coloured cables on all these plugs and worked out in there exactly which one was which. So if the same happens on here, I'm confident that I know that I can connect them all to earth and it'll all be okay. Also included on this one is the airbag wires as well. So we may or may not reconnect those, don't know. Depends where we decide to cut it. So what we can do, I think this is what we did before, is we just left that hanging and then cut it and then connected those wires. But we could, in theory, remove that bit as well and cut it in the same place. And then that will be so that's the airbag, that's the earth, and the curtain airbag for the passenger side of it. So we could use that as well. But it depends on how, when you buy one of these looms from a breakers, it depends on how you get it, really. They may have cut it further up, which is where I normally cut it. But when I take them out, I cut it about there. I don't go all the way back to here. So we don't actually need all that. So all that can come off, and then we'll work out which are the wires that go to this, which we don't need, and then we just won't bother connecting them. But that's easy enough to do. So we'll have some wires left. But they just won't get connected, so that's fine. Anyway, we will carry on and start reconnecting everything up again. So let's do that. Right, so what we have to do now is start plugging them all back in. So we have to put in all these the little, what do you call them? All these little things, and figure out which one goes where. So that one we know is heated rear window, and we've got to do something with that, haven't we? We've got to solder that or something on that one, so I won't worry about that one too much at the moment, which is that one. So that one goes into there, which is the boot hatch. One goes into there, that one goes into the lock, which is down here. So as I say, it's easier. No, it's that one that goes into the lock. So at least they are different plugs, so you can't get the wrong one. So we'll get the bolts. What have I done with the bolts? Good question. What have I done with the bolts? Sure, they're in here somewhere. There they are. So we'll put the lock back in. And then apart from the other heated rear window, which obviously we've got to sort out, which we won't worry about too much at the moment, the only other one left to go in is the rear windscreen wiper. And that's it. We are done. Okay, so we'll pull that off. Absolutely filthy. Don't have to come off much, just enough to clear it. And then we get a Phillips screwdriver. Get that under there. Undo that screw. Dropped in the right place. Put that down. And then over here we have a screw just on the bottom of the cream piece where it joins the rear side bit. Remove that like that, and then this bit we'll just pull off like that, and then that can just be left dangling down there, because all you need to do, if you can see them, which you probably can't, but what we'll do is we'll get the camera inside the car so you can see better. Right, so we've got to decide where we're going to cut this. Now I think, let's pull that out of there. I think if we if this is going through here, if we cut it, I think this is where we did it before. We sort of cut it here. So if we cut it fairly high, and then we feed this one through and then cut it a little bit low, it gives us a little bit of slack to be able to do it. We don't need all of this. That is unnecessary wire. So this, on this loom, we've got, as I said earlier, we've got the rear light bit. Well, we don't need that at all. So I think the best thing we can do is cut it all off. So because that goes off from the loom, so we've got this piece which will include the wires for that as well. If we cut it past that, it won't include those because they've already teed off. So that would be a better way of doing it. So we will use this, I think, although if we're going to cut it here, which I think is the best place to cut it, which is where I did it before, let's pull that out down there as well, do it just there, then that's already connected up there. So we have to disconnect it up there and then use that. So that's fine, we can do that. That's not a problem. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut it just here and then feed through the two bits. So we've got the airbag wire and the earth. So yeah, cut it here, feed through what we've cut off, feed this back through, connect that up to the airbag. We'll have to drop this down a little bit, unfortunately, which is a bit of a nuisance, but you don't have to do it much. Just a little bit to be able to get behind it. Yeah, I think that's the plan. So right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to cut this. So I'm just going to cut the tape and then we'll start snipping them off. So we'll cut high, so it gives you extra down the bottom, and then we'll cut this one a bit low, so it gives us a little bit of slack to work with, because obviously we have to strip the wires back and solder join them together. So let's do that now. Right, so it's been disconnected the other end, and we just need to pull it through now, he says. There we go, it's coming through. Now we don't need to worry about, I don't think we need to worry about putting cotton on it or anything, string on it, on this. It's easy enough to get through without. So there's your old one. Now it is worth keeping that. If you work on these cars a lot, it's always handy to have extra plugs, because I have had plugs that have been broken, and I've kept these and I've been able to use them. So don't throw that away. Same goes for that. I sold one of these recently. I think I got 20 quid for it. So I should be doing 15 quid, I can't remember now, but I will be, because what people do when they inspect these, they tend to cut them. And then they want a new one when they do a repair, whether they do a repair like this or with the repair kits. So I will attempt to get that off and then I will stick that on eBay as well, and I'll sell that. Gives me a little bit of money back. So yeah, definitely don't throw that away. Right, now what we need to do is take this and feed this through. Now, what I think I might do is take that off first, because we don't really need that on there, and it will be difficult to actually feed that through. So I'm going to cut it off now, and then I'll tape the wire up, and then we can just feed it straight through. So let's cut that there. That's plenty long enough. Oh, blimey, some of these wires. And then we'll keep this, because again, you know, there's bits on here that may come in useful in the future. Bits of that, for example, you know, if you get one of these that breaks, it's handy to have spare bits, and they do break, as some of you will know. So let's just tape that up. And then we'll attempt to push it through. We'll put some tape around. Should we put? No, I don't think we need to put tape around the plug. So we need to get it in there and then try, see if we can, just push it straight through the aperture. Yep, there it goes, coming, I can feel it already. As you can see, plenty of overlap. In fact, far too much, but better too much than not enough. Okay, so we obviously we'll unwind the cables. We'll cut each cable individually neater, and then we'll get our solder joints out, and we'll start soldering and shrink wrapping to get them all joined. And what we have to hope is that they're all the same colour. They should be, but we have to hope that they are. Otherwise, nightmare. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to join the airbag wires and that earth wire. Get those joined, then we can put the headlining bit back in again. So I'll do that, and then we'll start doing it. So I'm not going to be able to film me doing this. I think I've filmed quite a lot. I don't want to make this video too lengthy, but I think what I'll do is if I come in every now and again, what I'll do once I've soldered the first cable, I will come back, I will show you that one, and then we'll complete it, and then the last thing we'll do is to join the water squirter pipe, and we'll show you doing that as well. I'll show you how we do that. So let's do it. Let's get on with it, and I will be back as soon as the first wire has been soldered. So see you in a second. Okay, here we go. As promised, that's the first one. That's white and yellow to white and yellow. So we have lots more to do. I haven't even counted them. I don't know how many there are. I will let you know at the end. But yeah, so they're all stripped back. I have my solder joins, which I'm also, as you can see, I'm putting, as well as doing the solder joins, I'm putting the shrink plastic stuff over it as well, just belt and braces really, just to help it along the way. Yeah. Right, there you go, all done. Took a little while, but the only thing that was awkward was, as I suspected, coming from the car, there's 3 black wires, and I've joined that to 1 black wire, which is exactly the same as I did on the last car that I did. So that's it, all done. All soldered joints, all shrink wrapped, all the wires correct colours, which is as it should be. Fantastic. The only thing left I've got to do is I've cut those a little bit, these tubes. I've just got to join those, and I'll probably heat them up as well, and push them onto the thing. I'll make sure I've got the right thing to push them on, because obviously we don't want that leaking. So yeah, that should be okay. So we'll just do that, and then that'll be it pretty much. There you go, that's him all connected up. So what they actually were, I bought that one before at Halfords, I think it was, which is 5mm, but it actually turned out to be these 4.5mm. So they're 4.5mm barbed, and you put them on, and then they just click over them. And then what I do is I just warm them up just to melt them slightly, soften them up and melt them slightly onto the actual thing itself. So we'll put some tape around that as well, but I'm pretty sure that's a good connection. So that's it, all connected up, done. And all we need to do is I think I'm not sure where that goes. They go in there? Yeah, maybe. As you can see, there is a bit of a excess. So all we do is we just push it up out the way and tape it up, and that'll be it. So before I do that, I'm going to test it all, make sure it all works, and then we can put it all back together again. Okay, so that works now. That's stopping in the correct position. Could do with adjusting slightly, but it's not going automatically when the ignition starts, and when you switch it on, it works as it should. There's nothing, if I shut the doors, we have got other errors up anyway, but they were up before anyway, but there's nothing that comes up and says doors open, because it's not. So that's fixed that. So I think we can safely say it's sorted. The only one thing I don't know on this car, which is possibly not even related, is the remote not working. It only works when you come up close, for some bizarre reason. It's clearly, I thought it might be something to do with the hatch wiring. Clearly it isn't. So that's the end of this video. That's the end of this how-to video. Hatch wiring, the only thing I've got to do is tape up all those and push them out of the way, all those connections, put that little cream quarter panel back on, and put the bits back together on the cover. That's got to be put back on, and that's it, job done. So I don't really need to show you how to do that. It's the reverse of me taking it off. You saw me taking it off, and it's just the reverse of that. So that's it. How to change hatch wiring on a Fiat 500 or an Abarth. Exactly the same. Quite easy. Bit daunting the first time you've done it, but I'm hoping that me showing you step by step how to do it might give you the confidence to have a go yourself. So yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. As always, if you're not a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. Take a look at the other videos, the other how-to videos. There's loads of them out there. And obviously all the project cars as well. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please give us a thumbs up. Until the next how-to and until the next project, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you soon.